Despite this episode keeping up with the show's unserious tone, the idea of the end of the world and what you would do on your last day says a lot about the characters and people in general. That's why this is the best episode in the show. It perfectly represents each character and where they're at the moment. It shows us what's really important and that the sun will always rise. This episode can be broken up into three main parts: the party, the bucket list, and Leslie and Ben. My honorable mention, though, is Anne and Chris's kind of subplot where they talk about reincarnation and what's really important in life. It's beautiful, and I think the fact that it is almost the turning point where they start to realize they're made for each other in love. They talk about making life count, and it's just so good. So let's get into the party. Alright, so this is set up like a horrendous early 2000s movie, and it's f***ing awesome. It is so super cliche. Bro, let's throw a killer party like the world's about to end. It's just two idiots deciding to have an awesome party with the most outlandish ideas, like a shrimp wall and a drum line, a bouncy castle, and a VIP that even they can't get into. And you have the little Lucy subplot where she kisses Tom and it's that whole thing. And Jean-Ralphio inviting her wasn't actually to be nice with Tom. Like, that joke bangs.
I forgot they ever dated. I was trying to hit that.
I think what makes the party my favorite part of the episode is that these people are at rock bottom. And Jean-Ralphio doesn't exactly realize that. The fact that they choose to not take the obviously correct positive financial option and just bag the $5,000 that they each get, they decide to really live their life like it's the end of the world. It really represents who they are and just trying to make the most of their time. It's almost the reset that they need. They hit rock bottom and they had this massive failure, and they almost decided to celebrate it. So, love the party, but next up is bucket list, and this is so sweet, okay? Everybody has a bucket list, and if you don't, you should make one. Maybe I'll do that for a video, actually. Again, we're talking super cliche, right? It's a couple that's a little stale, kind of long-term relationship. What should we do tonight? They don't want to do the same thing they do every single night, and they decide to have the best night ever, and this whole thing is cliche, and I love it so much. They need this night to kind of revitalize their relationship and keep things new and interesting. It could be their last night on Earth, so they do dumb shit like make the best grilled cheese ever, hold $1,000 in cash, win the lottery, and then at the end drive all the way to the Grand Canyon. I think what really makes this episode so special is that it strays so far away from the norm, and even the way it's filmed, the way the characters interact with the camera, the way it gives off such a human feeling is so special to me. Like when April and Andy are driving in the car. When April and Andy actually get to the Grand Canyon, they're stunned, and it's just so gorgeous and takes us outside of that normal Parks and Rec world. And again, these are things that you could do if you thought it was the last night of your life. You would do the things on your bucket list. You would do everything that you've always dreamed of doing. Hold up, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. I love you so much. All right, enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, on to Leslie and Ben, and I'm gonna be honest, it's clearly the worst out of the three, but I think it's still important because there's some really funny moments from Leslie.
Oh my God.
I know that move.
They're gonna have sex in 5 minutes. I gotta stop this. I gotta keep them away from each other for the rest of their lives.
It's kind of a turning point for them too. They just broke up and they don't really know where they are. It really gives us a divide. And I think that divide is so important because it essentially is what was needed for them to come back together. They needed to be pushed so far apart. In a sense, they realized how much they wanted to be together. Leslie goes bonkers, doesn't want him with Shauna, and takes him to Mick Jagger's gas station or something. It's just kind of nuts, but what really ties it all together, and honestly, this gagged me. I was not prepared. I could have cried when I first saw this. She talks to Ron at the campfire, and she says,
I have to tell you, Ron, if the world was ending tomorrow, I'd want to be with him.
Think about that right now. Think about if your life were to end this instant, who would you want to be with? That's the only question you need. But that's not the part that killed me, because Ron says,
Problem is, Leslie, the world's not ending tomorrow. The sun's gonna rise right over there.
It's such a good line, and it really ties everything together because We just went through the party, the bucket list, Leslie and Ben. Everything was as if the world was ending, but the reality is it wasn't. Ron is always a good dose of reality, and I think that hitting after the episode of all the magical things we see really puts things into perspective that, you know, the world isn't going to end, but what did you learn from this experience? And I think we can all learn from that experience, right? It's not to say that we know that, oh, tomorrow's it, but in a sense, it could be. Every day is a gift and we have to make the most of it because you never know when you're gonna go, so try to live every day like it's your last. Be with the people you want to be with, do the things that you want to do, and make the most of your time. These stories all occur relatively independently, but they all represent the same thing. Make the most of your life while you still have time. When you actually put things into the perspective of if the world was ending, what would you do? It really makes you appreciate the things and people in your life and realize what you actually want to do. So I ask you, what would you do if the world was ending tonight? Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I've got some really fun ideas coming up soon. I'm gonna try to push myself out of the box a little bit and get out of this room, I think, and film some videos elsewhere. I want to try to make a little bit more meaningful videos, although I try to make these very meaningful in case you can't tell. I want to really push myself and go to that next level. So we'll see. I love you all. Make sure to subscribe, please. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye.